Hi, welcome back. It's Lionel Tech Lead and partner at Westvolt. And big news today in the world of tech. Deepseek disrupting AI, right? Destroying the American dominance over AI. And it's getting everybody crazy. I'm telling you, crazy. Look at this article here by the former Intel CEO, Pat Gelsinger. And basically, you're looking at the markets. You got Nvidia crashing 20%, billions wiped out. Broadcom wiping out. And why is everybody so crazy about DeepSeek? There are lots of AI models out there in the market. What is making people nuts about it? And one of the worst thing, right, is now, the big point about DeepSeek, right, was that the Chinese guys were able to build a AI model with the supposedly being blocked by Nvidia's, the blocked by all the H100s and the hardware, and their model is faster, uses less RAM, and supposedly more accurate. Now, I haven't gone too deep into DeepSeek, right? But what I see is something that is very similar to PHP and Java and this whole thing that we've been talking about, which is somehow instead of using hardware to solve the problem, we have gone into the software and solved this in a more efficient way. And that essentially is the PHP story, right? That we built something that's a lot more efficient and gets the job done. Now, I'm not just coming out the ideas in my head. I found this in the best place right now, x.com, and this chap called Word Grammy, who actually did a lot of research, and I want to give a shout out to Word Grammar, on this article here. And I just want to talk about a few things, right? This is the main tactic. You should not trust DeepSeek. I'm going to try to zoom in on this. Okay, let's pull this in here so that you guys can see this more in detail. I think this is the main crux of the matter, right? Um, they use shady techniques like manual memory management, right? And basically, there's two things here. One is the export restrictions on H100s, that's over here, and the H800s. And they're only worse than the H100s in one way, which is they have lower memory bandwidth between GPUs. So basically, they share it, um, they share the memory differently down there. I'm not expert in this area, but what I like about that, right, is exactly what PHP does, is that it doesn't suck up all the resources that's given to you. And this is where the problem happens in a lot of the software out there that you guys are thinking about, in that the what I wouldn't say the American way or say the big tech US way is that we have a problem and we're just gonna use lots more resources. We're gonna use more cloud, gonna use more hardware. This has been the Microsoft way, how things have been done previously all the time. And the rest of the world, all of us, say, okay, we don't really, we can't really throw hardware at this solution. Let's try to be more efficient about what we do. And this is what we see um, DeepSeek doing. They're basically being more efficient with the way they manage the memory. It's not like there's a magic sauce out there for this. It's just realizing same thing like how I go to 7-Eleven, that I cannot drink my Starbucks $7 coffees. I have to go to 7-Eleven. I wait for the dollar discounts that come up there, and you drink basically black coffee for $1, buy milk and put it inside for $1.80. That's how it's done. Okay, so here is a more detailed explanation. Okay, how did DeepSeek get around NVIDIA's export restrictions? Here's a philosophy major's thoughts on the situation. So it's very technical over here, but what you would see, right, is same thing with what PHP does. Basically, if we don't need it, get it processed elsewhere. Okay? So the same idea about this RESTful style of computing where PHP is 2 megabytes long and lets all the other process get handled by something else using APIs. Now you can read this in detail. Basically, they have a lot of communication inefficiencies using SM for communications, and somehow they're able to put it to the back layer and process it on the front side. Just the main things. If any of you guys are more into depth of this, you guys can read it. I'm not really. Um, I'm more on the top layer about the programming language, but the same philosophy is there. Focus on the key area. Let something else do it else. Don't jumble everything in there. So you can go to this guy's Twitter. I think this is one of the best word grammar. Up here, he's very detailed on this. And if you're watching my video, word grammar, good job with the explanations. I look forward to actually reading a little bit more about this stuff. But a lot of the ideas, the high end stuff, the philosophy, very, very similar to PHP. You don't have that much resources. Try to make use of it. Try to have it palmed off elsewhere. Make use of caches, like what I said with memcache and PHP. Don't let the main language handle everything. Don't be in it. What do you call it? Don't be inefficient. Okay, and then cut costs. You can see cost to run a Hopper chips fallen 4x down to 2. This is very Chinese how they save a lot of money on these kind of things. I am not sure whether these things are confirmed to be true, but you can definitely be confident that the Chinese guys have cheap access to these things. Like the way people, the funniest one was the latest Nvidia, right? The new chip that came out. And I told you guys, right? I'm still using a Samsung um, A54. And my question I always ask people, right, is why do I need more hardware when my current phone does everything? I want to look for a software solution, efficient solution, rather than upgrade my hardware. So as I said, Deepseek is very, very new, guys. Very exciting to go and figure it out. I look forward to actually diving a little bit more deeper in this stuff. And the other thing is that it's actually open source, so we're gonna see more applications be used by it. Um, I gotta do kudos to the team at ChatGPT that when you're first innovating, it's actually much more expensive, and then when you already have an existing solution, it's much cheaper to come along and look at it and actually develop it at much less cost, right? But what's really outstanding about this is to actually come up with a product that actually is matching the hardware solution. So they found a software solution that beats the hardware and is kind of equal on that level. So still very early days. Like I said, we don't want to go. Don't quote me on everything. Go read some of these guys that making the posts up here. Um, this guy is pretty good. I see he's really got a good math background, word grammar. His Twitter, I'll put that in the link. Guys, take a look at it. Just good, especially if you're a coder. Just try to get an instinct. A lot of this stuff is very technical, even above my pay grade. I can tell you, right? Sometimes I really wonder if they just chunk in the math just for fun. But if they could explain it, I'm sure you use AI and explain it much more simply. You'll see lots of what do you call lambda and Greek symbols in there. Have a look at it, and we'll be covering this space very closely because I believe that we need to have more efficient software solutions rather than just going out there and wasting money on hardware. So that's the bottom line because Tech Lead said so.